इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
I extend my thanks to Dheeraj for such a lovely motivational message. Every day you start the webinar with such a good video. Thank you so much for that. We welcome all our participants for the 53rd episode of Business Opportunity with Chai series, an initiative which we took on 1st of May, and today we are at the 53rd episode. Franchise India, a group known for its facts and figures, the kind of the service we are doing in market. That's displayed to our facts and figures. We have already executed 41,000 deals pan-India. We have helped 4,000 brands to expand their business to 70 office networks we have in India. With this introduction, I welcome our panel member, and this particular webinar is hosted by Mr. Maria, who is the chairman at Franchise India brand. Franchise India is an author and business consultant helping our brands to expand their business and our potential business buyers to select their brands. We also extend our welcome to Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She is the MD at Franchise India Brands Limited. She also holds position of director at Remax and helping all of us, sharing her rich, great experience with us and selecting us the kind of the brands we should be looking at. We welcome our day for the brand of the day. If we can, Dheeraj, if we can move to the next slide. Yes, the brand of the day is ShopeeWise. And we have privilege that we have Swapnil, who is a CEO and founder at ShopeeWise with us. He enjoys 15 years of experience in solution and different kind of the apps. Today, he's going to talk about what kind of the value proposition we are creating in market. Just to introduce ShopeeWise, it's India's first value chain creative AI-enabled B2B e-commerce marketplace brand. They are known for the kind of the services they are giving in market. Based in Pune, this is India's first value chain centric market. With this introduction, I welcome Swapnil to talk about his great brand and what kind of the offering he's giving in market. Thank you so much, Swapnil, today for joining us. But before you interact digitally with our investor, I would like to play a small video on your brand.
Do you have a business and want to sell your products anywhere in the world? Well, it's good news for you. It's 2020 and the methods of doing business have changed drastically. Worry no more for the expansion of your business and markets. ShopeeWise is here to take care of that for you. Envisioning to be a significant player in India's Make in India initiative, ShopeeWise is India's first value chain-centric, AI-enabled, global B2B e-commerce marketplace. Shopify is a platform that helps you take your business online and sells your products globally without impacting your offline business. Shopify is a platform for both supplier who can list their business online and buyers who can purchase in bulk online. It's a sheer convenience of getting yourself listed on the Shopify's platform that makes the entire process extremely smooth and seamless. Well, the benefits are countless. For businesses, supplier settlement within 7 days, easy return policies, one request multiple codes for buyers, shipment after quality certification. Shopify envisions enabling Indian SMEs to optimize the supply chains and expand into the overseas market and make India a world leader in providing manufactured goods to the world. Some of the significant solutions provided are easy international exposure to the potential Indian products, a holistic solution for B2B businesses in the SME category, better and very flexible payment terms for SMEs, a new payment method in the form of a multi-channel inventory and innovative barter system, peace of mind regarding the quality of products delivered for the buyer because it is protected with Shopify's assurance, which is more than insurance. Shopify's local से global तक आपके साथ.
Thank you so much, Dheeraj. Now I would request Swapnil to share his screen so that we can start the webinar. Thank you so much, Swapnil.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Gaurav, and whole Franchise India team for arranging such a wonderful session and to have such a great platform.
Swapnil, if you can be a little louder.
1 minute. Are you able to hear me?
We can hear you, but if you are a little louder, then it will be easier for.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So thank you, Soumya ma'am, Gaurav sir, and whole Franchise India team for arranging such a wonderful session and to have such a great platform to connect with the wider audience and to showcase the Shopify's vision to our Indian manufacturers. Hello, everyone. My name is Swapnil Borlepar. I'm founder and CEO of Shopify's. I mainly look after the global demand of the Indian manufacturer goods. So Shopify is India's first value chain centric AI-enabled B2B e-commerce marketplace. We call ourselves as India's first global B2B marketplace who is helping Indian manufacturers, small and medium, to scale up their business locally and globally on the larger scale. This is the great opportunity with the very low investment opportunity, multiple revenue sources, and incredible return on investment. So Shopify is basically the company which is located at the base out of Pune as a headquarter, which is running under the brand name of the Shopify. So company is planning to expand its footprint in India through the channel of franchising for faster growth and need. So in terms of presence of Shopify, currently we have more than 1,000 plus active SMEs using the Shopify from more than 1,800 states in India, 2 different states in USA, 1 state in Australia, and 1 province in Belgium. So Shopify's clear vision is to become the key player in Make in India initiative to make India a world leader in providing manufactured goods to the world. So our mission is to enable the Indian SME to optimize the supply chain and to expand into the overseas market. So the main current challenges which our Indian industry, small and medium manufacturers are facing, like standardization of the services to reach the global demand, ensuring the transparency of the prices to make sure that our manufacturers' interests are protected, delivering the quality service to the cross-border consumers so that they should feel peace of mind and they should come again and again to purchase the same product, ensuring the trustworthiness of the seller, and maintaining a quality check on the larger scale. These are the current industry challenges which small and Indian manufacturers are facing when they are scaling their product globally. So to bridge all these gaps and problems, Shopify is born. So Shopify is holistic global B2B e-commerce marketplace by India for the world. So we provide on-demand quality inspection report before providing or before giving the order itself. So we give the complete peace of mind to our global consumers before purchasing any product on bulk. we provide 360-degree customer support 24/7. So to make sure that there should be always someone to help our manufacturer as well as global consumer to support their day-to-day business problems. We are a collaborative ecosystem. That means all the entity on the Shopify's platform can communicate together, they can sell, they can negotiate, and that convert the lead quickly. We also provide the innovative smart warehouse where selected supplier can rent out their extra space for additional money. We have the barter system in place so that the supplier can exchange their surplus with another needy supplier so that they can avoid their unnecessary write-ups. So current market opportunity which we have, which we are at the moment, which we are running with, currently we are supporting the category business segments such as clothing, food and medical. So in this category, we support more than 1,000 manufacturers across 18 states in India. We provide support to almost all states, and also globally we provide current support. So current our customers are distributors, wholesaler, retailers within India and outside India. So future market opportunity which is on the way is we are very soon launching another category such as leathers, industrial goods, refined petroleums, jewelry and manufactured goods. And our future customers which we are introducing is financial institutions, importers, hypermarket and B2C e-commerce marketplace. So there is a great reason to partner with Shopify. So one thing is we have a very unique concept. We are the one who is providing largest B2B e-commerce in India, which is only helping 100% Indian authentic product to scale up globally. We are the largest. We have the very wide network. We have very unique platform so that SMEs, Indian SMEs can easily showcase and sell their product globally as if they are selling their product in local market. All the complexity, regulation, compliance, customs, Shopify is taking care under the hood so that they can only focus on their core business and we can help them to grow. We have a professionally managed, high experienced leadership team. We have the very low investment opportunity which we are providing to our e-franchisee at the moment with incredible return on investment. Currently, we are basically providing, we are helping to earn the attractive margin on product sale, subscription plan and promo slots. We'll go into the deep dive into the details in the further slide.
Swapnilji, can I request you to expand the screen? That's one request everybody's sending to us. I think your screen is not fully expanded. You can do it at the bottom. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the subscription plan which we are providing to our supplier who are onboarding on Shopify. So silver plan, golden plan, and diamond plan. So here depends upon the different suppliers, manufacturers. They can take the subscription, which is anytime they can cancel it. First 3 months are free, and after that they can showcase their product, showcase their brand, and they sell their product local as well as global market. So our main financial model, which basically we are very minimum expectation, which is that we are expecting average area of the e-franchisee should be just a 350 square feet. Investment including the franchisee fees, which we are expecting just 8,50,000, which is inclusive of the franchisee fees. Agreement period is 3 months, and payback period, which is most important, which is just 9 months. As compared with other franchisee, this payback is very, very less. Which I would like to add one more thing is that in addition to that, basically there are a lot of revenue models which we are offering here to our e-franchisee, due to which the return on investment by fourth year is 201%, which is pretty much year-on-year growth is more than 40%. This is the one unique and very less franchisee companies provide that with no inventory cost at all, because this is completely inventory less e-franchisee company. So here we go. So this is the question and answer. So I believe so you understand, and everyone, all the audience understand what is Shopify, what is our vision, what is the potential, and what are the market opportunities. So let us know if you have questions.
It was very insightful, and we would have a lot of questions because I think it's a technology based company, and we're now spreading and building franchise network. So we will next maybe 30 odd minutes spend a lot of time with you to really go deeper into the business model and which would be very important for our audience, which is available on the webinar and also on a Facebook Live listening at it. So let's start with few questions. I will take it up and then I'll invite Sonia to take up some questions.
Sure.
And first, let's start with you. You as a founder, what is your journey? Because in businesses like these, founder play a very important role. What is your journey? How you started this? What was the big idea? And what has been your past performances on your businesses or your education? Anything you want to share about it? Anything, even your family? We'd like to know, as a founder of the company, what is your journey like?
Yeah, sure, Gaurav. So, hello, audience. So, I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is, I believe, is my fourth venture. So I, based out of Melbourne, I was living out of country more than 10 years. And while living out of country, there was always question in my mind that why Indian products are nowhere and Chinese products are everywhere, even though we are the world's second largest economy. And even we have the product which the world can love. So the journey started that time, and I was with the curious to understand that what is the problem due to which Indian potential products are not reaching globally. After doing the deep diving for a couple of months, talking to the people, doing the market research and speaking to the different different ages people, understand that this is the gap where there is no uniform global technology platform, which is only focusing Indian products to reach globally, which is extremely easy, simple, but very efficient. And that is how to bridge this gap, Shopify is born.
Very interesting. And now you moved to India for good, because I understand I'm talking to you that now you set up the full technology team and everything in Pune. And that's where you're building on, and you keep shuttling between a little bit on going to Australia and come back. So that's what is going on. But you think that this is now the business which you want to really commit yourself for next 5-10 years? Because serial entrepreneurs are always running for next big idea and next big idea, right?
Sure.
So let's now go to the opportunity side and let's go deep dive into the opportunity. Opportunity, I will divide into 3 parts. First, let's understand the business model, because this business model from a thought point looks very interesting, because we are doing a B2B structure, and there are companies like IndiaMart, Trade India, a lot of other things which have been doing India B2B cycle, and they've also become very large, especially IndiaMart has become fairly large as a business. How Shopify is different from user experience, maybe industries you focus or opportunities to do that. And second, because this business to business really talks about different industries, multiple industries can come in and multiple buyers over this entire globe. So it's a very large ecosystem to bind. You can have a seller who manufactures, say, medical tools, and you have a buyer sitting in some part or the other which needs to buy that. How does this whole ecosystem, while from a thought viewpoint looks very interesting, but how is manageable? You would phase it out? You will do some industries, like you said, you are only doing 3 industries, or how the scale and where you see this absolutely open opportunity available. So my question is divided into, how is this opportunity? What are you doing with the competition which is currently there? And how do you see this business evolving, and maybe some markets you want to focus? So over to you, Swapnil.
Yeah, thanks for this. Is a very nice question. So yes, definitely there are a lot of competitions are already there, but the main unique value proposition is that Shopify is a holistic. So 80% of the B2B marketplace in the world are only listing platforms. They are only branding, but not actually selling the products. So that is really not helping the Indian manufacturer to reach the product globally. Second thing is that we need to understand the global consumers' mindset. This is completely different. So we need to understand their problem actually when they are purchasing the product. Nobody is really bothering that what exactly they require. We have to basically wear their shoes and understand that what problem they are facing. They mainly want to know who is the supplier, how we can trust, what will happen if the product will not come, who will protect my interest. To solve all those real-time business problems, Shopify, we have directly mapped those problem statement into the technology innovation, right? So we are providing not only the marketplace, not only branding in Indian manufacturer goods, but we are also providing the flexible payment terms, payment provision, as well as we are providing the multi-option shipping, which is almost not available in most of the e-commerce marketplace, where we are providing multiple, more than 10 shipping options, depends upon the their needs, depends upon their necessity, whether it is fastest, cheapest. At the same time, we are making sure that seller's interest is also protected when the product basically is sold. It should not happen that buyer should not pay the money, because it's a cross border is having a lot of compliances, a lot of issues. So we have, through the escrow technology and through the Shopify's innovative platform, we are safeguarding the interest of our seller in a such a way that after purchasing the product, automatically the money from the buyer's wallet will get released to the seller. So in a such a way that we are making sure the interest of our Indian manufacturer as well as global buyers' interest has been protected. So that is our unique value proposition, which at the moment our competitors are also not providing. Our biggest competitor, which I would say is our Alibaba. The reason behind this is Alibaba is the biggest B2B marketplace, which is predominantly focusing on the Chinese product to sell and reach globally. However, Shopify is the only global platform who is only providing 100% Indian authentic products to reach globally, which basically for which Shopify is providing the assurance for the quality and the best price.
Very interesting. So just to define this very big change, in every industry, there are two types of digital companies. One is the listing companies, which run like advertising platforms where you can come and list your product and do your own transaction. And them are transactional companies, which are more commerce companies where they would actually handle the entire transaction. So Shopify is a transactional company, not a listing company. So there's a big difference. Now let's go into a little bit of you said when you are transactional, when you're doing listing, you are not in control of what is listed and what is not listed. But when you are a transactional company and you are reassuring both buyer and the seller that there is from a buyer side, there is a quality assurance and the product delivery assurance and so on and so forth. And from a seller side, it's always about the payment assurance and recovery of monies assurance and so on and so forth. So these are two very important mindsets they have apart from the transactional and discovery. So once the discovery is done, the buyer is always interested to know about the quality and the delivery time cycles. And I can tell you the most of the disappointment happens on the quality and delivery time cycles, so that don't repeat purchase. So and delivery time cycles is a big problem, because when you list an opportunity, then you don't have a real time data which you can understand. So is there a technology in you which can really real time know what is the manufacturer holding stock levels, and you're able to control that? So your point of purchase is linked on point of sales in a very, very seamless structure, so that if I was buying from Australia, I can really know that this company which is selling me medicine or somebody selling any whatever needs to be done has a real-time stock levels is this. So that would ensure the delivery life cycle is not broken apart from the logistic part of it. And second is the quality, and quality needs physical verification of the goods and so on and so forth. How are you addressing these two aspects?
Yeah, so this is a wonderful question. Actually, there are three things currently most of the global B2B marketplace face the problem. One thing is the quality, traceability, logistic, and payment. So in terms of traceability, most important things for the buyer is to understand that how the product has been procured, what material has been used, how old that material is it good for us for health. So we are using the blockchain technology due to which we are providing end-to-end traceability. So when the manufacturer purchase any goods, raw material, we are giving that level of information also, that what is the age of that raw material, how the raw material has been procured, if it is food, what side of soil has been used, what type of material, how they have been stored. So that level of detailed information we are providing to our consumers, which is basically end-to-end traceability we are providing. Second thing, in terms of logistic, we have the partnership with the industries, most of the preferred logistic partners, due to which we are providing 26,000 pin code out of 26,722 in India, which is a wider coverage we have, including in the worldwide. So out of 194 countries at the moment, we can procure or we can supply about 150 plus countries in the world. So, and they are giving the commitment for the minimum 4 days to within basically 10 days of the delivery anywhere in the globe, if it is a priority shipment. So that is about the shipping or logistic. And third thing is about payment. Payment is most important, because you have to interest protect the interest of the supplier as well as manufacturer. Since this is a B2B marketplace, the volume or the transaction value of the transaction is pretty high. So it is very important to protect the overall transaction, to make sure that the buyer is also serious and seller is also providing the genuine products. So due to that, this is basically when the transaction happen, we are making sure that all those money from the buyer has been safeguarded with the Shopify escrow account. So this money will get released only when the buyer will receive those same item, it's the same shape and size with the same quality what it is claimed or asked for. And then after buyer's confirmation only will get released, that money will get released. So due to that, basically buyer as well as seller's interest will protected and both will purchase with the peace of mind. But before that, we will make sure that on demand, we are providing quality inspection report to make sure that what is the quality of the product which supplier is going to provide to the consumers. So consumer will exactly know the quality of the product. So due to that, his confidence will build and the turnaround time for converting lead into the customer will be very quick.
Absolutely. Now let's go to the next big question, which is very important, and I think a lot of questions would revolve around it. It's about defining the business model for a franchisee. What is the role of a franchisee here? And if you can, in a simple structures, explain the obligation which franchisee has to do, what a franchisee has to do today. Is the role going to evolve over the time, or you think that the franchisee role would be limited to only bringing in manufacturers on board, or maybe in our case, sellers on board? And is that a role, or is there a bigger role which is available? That's part number one. Part number two is how your territory allocation is there, what is the territories you are allocating and where you are allocating. And third, do also give a little bit of a financial earning projection, which means that how, if I become a franchisee, what is my earning potential year 1, year 2, year 3? So 3 things very importantly: defining the obligation, what is a franchisee supposed to do as a function. Second, how's the territorial allocation. Third is the earning potential for a franchisee.
Sure. So one most important thing is that this is a very unique e-franchisee for e-commerce marketplace. So here there are multiple revenue streams are there, not the only one. So first important revenue stream is commission on the transaction. So we are sharing the about 20% to 40% of the transaction commission share with our franchisee. Second thing is that whatever the manufacturers will be onboarded in the designated area for which we have appointed the e-franchisee, so he will earn about 1,500 till 18,000 of the money for every manufacturer, whatever they onboarded on the platform. Third thing is that whatever the subscription will happen, whatever the manufacturers will convert into the subscribed customer to get the regular benefits, value-added service to the Shopify, out of that they will get the 30% of the subscription cost, which is a recurring one. Once the manufacturers are onboarded, it is just maintaining those manufacturers. The money will basically continuously recurring money will come. So it is basically, it's regular constant basically supply of money they will get. So we are making sure in a such a way that their plate is always full of the returns, so that the payout will be very less, which we are saying that within 8 to 9 months payout will be possible. Okay, so that is basically the
deep dive into this. Like I was in Jaipur, I'm just setting an example, and I bring in maybe 2 people, focus on cluster. Jaipur is one of the largest clusters for jewelry, and they're a very big cluster for even fashion, which is ethnic wear for women. A big fashion, they're a big company. So if I onboard say 500 different manufacturers, which would take maybe 3 to 4 months, what can be my earning potential in this?
Okay, so if basically we are providing the e-franchisee to our Jaipur company, Jaipur franchisee entity, then the earning potential is ranging from, even though basically excluding the amount of the e-franchisee amount itself, minimum earning potential is starting from 15 lakhs till 40 lakhs.
You want to go deeper into that, how the breakup of 15 lakh, because a lot of people actually are in our audience, which are not from the franchise business. They are still thinking from a brick and mortar. Our thinkings, especially in franchising, our thinkings are always brick and mortar. We always see customers, how many customers would come in, how much they consume, what is the margin I have, and things like that. In subscription businesses, we need to really see and define some science in that. And science would mean that if I hire 2 people, 1 person, how many manufacturers they can bring on board, average manufacturer would come from say a medium subscription, 6-month subscription or 3-month subscription, because initially they would like to try it out, which means that they only get 399 kind of a subscription. And so I want to really go deeper into that maths, because for people to understand what is their income levels and how they would be able to take out and what resources they have to deploy. They have to put up an office, and also later the transactions and everything, how they transparently would know that manufacturers they've brought in, how much they're trading and how they're trading on that. Because
yeah, understand your question. So basically, Jaipur is one of the biggest hub in India, which provide handicrafts as well as the clothing material, not only India, to the globe also. They have the unique value proposition, unique products which world can love. So in the as per our analysis, in the Jaipur or in the just in Rajasthan region or the state, we have more than 1,000 plus manufacturers has been identified in just basically the clothing category. Okay, so out of that, we are expecting that just 30% of the penetration in terms of small and medium manufacturers we're expecting, which is nothing but just 300. So all those 300 manufacturers which are basically providing basically their and since it is a B2B marketplace, the average ticket size is minimum starting from domestic 5,000, and in global minimum ticket size is starting from 1 lakhs. Right? And out of that, the revenue is expected to be ranging from basically 20% to 40%. In terms of the resources which basically e-franchisee need minimum is one thing is that they need one decent location, decent place, which is pretty much 350 square feet of area. Not necessarily that it has to be in the commercial space, but it has to be a decent place where they can run their business. So this is a minimum expectation. Second thing is that they should have the minimum 3 to 4 resources which are working to connect with the retailers and manufacturer day-to-day basis to understand their need and business demand. So expecting the salary will ranges from 10 to 15,000. So it is expected that monthly cost will about 40 to 50,000. And the rent will be, again, since it is not commercial space, not necessary. So we are expecting additional 20 to 25,000 will be added into that as a rental. So pretty much in on high level, the expenses should not go more than 1 lakhs to run the business completely. However, every person's velocity is that one person can collaborate or can onboard the manufacturers. As of now, our current experience is 4 manufacturers or 4 to 5 manufacturers he can onboard per day. And per every supplier or every salesperson can generate the sale about 25 to 40,000 per day. So if we will do the calculation per month, so basically that e-franchisee can generate more than basically the 15 lakhs of the sale, and basically 25,000 basically about 200 manufacturers per month. Sorry, 150 manufacturers per month. So by calculating all those accumulation with the manufacturers as well as the sale, also their subscription, assuming that there will be only 30% of the manufacturers will turn into the paid subscription. So we are assuming that 70% of the subscribers will be they will basically prefer to use the free perks, free benefits. Even though we'll calculate that on worst case scenario or conservative calculation, we are assuming that with four sales executives which are on the field and 2 basically on their just a supplier onboarding, they should be able to earn about more than 70,000 per month, including all their expenses.
Sure. This is helpful. I think our investors would need to go much deeper into their territories where they're coming from. And my suggestion is there are clusters like Surat, Jaipur, Muradabad, Lucknow, Calcutta, a lot of places in South. Coimbatore is a big cluster. So these are big. Ludhiana is a big cluster for handloom and fashion. So these are opportunity areas. If you think that your city has some big industrial cluster, I agree with the suggestions we are making here. It means that the India manufacturers actually don't get a window, and they don't get to the level where they are able to showcase their products. And most of the times they would go to wholesale markets, and wholesale markets would further give it to the conventional distribution environments, and which we call general trade, and the product actually gets multi hands and you don't get margins. Future is that these high quality manufacturers are able to reach out to global audience. Either they can produce under their label, which means that they can supply B2B and somebody can put their own label and sell it, or they can do directly under the manufacturer's label. This would empower better margins for the system, and this would also create a lot of transparency. But another area, Swapnil, I've always been very, and I think one has to champion some of the industries, and India has some industries which we are good at. We are very good at sports goods. Jalandhar is a big cluster. Ludhiana is a big hosiery cluster, and structure in that. Jaipur has a big cluster. Moradabad has a big brass and bronze cluster. So similarly, we have a lot of these clusters all over India. If we create champions and who go and cluster and take that opportunity and shift those people who are doing conventional general trade business and selling them and bring them to a much larger audience place, it will also be easy for you, Swapnil, for your team to also focus on where their market buyer groups would come, because you cannot also go and market Shopwise globally. And Alibaba is a phenomena because Alibaba also was able to do that with also the kind of capital they raised, they deployed, created that kind of bandwidth. So this is my last question, and then I'll pass it on to Sonia. Are you raising capital? Because this is a big business. This is not a small business. This is, you are competing with the big boys. What is your plan? I mean, because the bandwidth and the kind of requirement you would need to support this network you're creating would require a lot of capital. What is your capital plans? Are you raising more equity, or are you investing more investment?
I will answer your first question, which is about phase out, rollout in terms of our Indian manufacturers, the demographic. So as you mentioned, the Surat, Kolkata, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Jaipur, those are, or could be Pune. These are basically the different hubs which are pioneer in the different products, different categories. Few are in clothing, few are in industrial goods, few are in chemicals, few are basically in the gems and diamonds, right? So we have phased out, we have divided the e-franchisee network in such a way in phase 1 and phase 2 that there should be always balance in terms of the consumer network as well as the manufacturing hub, so that each and every e-franchisee will get the balance between the onboarding of the supplier, but at the same time, revenue generated from the consumer. So that basically rollout already planned over the period of 18 months throughout India. Second thing is about in terms of the revenue, in terms of the funding. So yes, we basically line up the couple of venture funding on the way. So very soon there will be news for Shopify to get some funding. So that we will basically share when things will get materialized. But yes, you basically rightly stated, yes, this is a massive, larger technology scale, which to reach globally on the massive scale, we require the massive funding. So this is basically pretty much everything is line up. The only thing is that we have to basically share that news once that things will get materialized.
Absolutely, and we wish you that Indian technology companies should get a lot of funding, and you can also invite your investors if you're looking for early partners. A lot of our investors are also always looking at taking stake in equity. If you do want to do some perpetual shares for some of the investors, if the valuations at this stage are right, and they might like to also invest with you. So that's also an option where our investors can reach out. So Sonia, over to you, and we're receiving a lot of questions and a lot of feedback. So first, your viewpoint on the overall business and industry, and then also taking some questions, please.
I think we've covered that. I was just going through some of the questions, and some of these questions are kind of repeatedly being asked, and maybe I'll start with that, Swapnilji. So if you look at this category as a whole, and what we've seen with other B2B players also in the market space, so there's certain categories which currently are doing very well, by their share or by value, which people are consuming more, which is primarily consumer durables, mobile accessories, apparel, home furnishing, and healthcare. So these are 4 categories which currently are doing well. And I'm seeing some people asking the questions, which are the kind of categories or brands that you've currently partnered with, and which are the focus categories one must get into. And if I can take, because I was, while doing that, I was going to the website, and if I can show the website and the categories for people, because some questions I'm sure could get answered there. So website looks like. In the three main categories, which has clothing, we have men, kids, accessories, sportswear is one of the categories, home furnishing and fabric. We have food, which includes from staple to gourmet, and then we have health, which obviously includes the protective gear and other health supplements. On to you, Swapnilji, what categories you think, are you focusing only on these three categories? There are more categories that you think can be looked at, is one of my questions to you, which is also being asked by many of our people on the webinar. Yeah.
Also, Sona has done the good thing because we're showing the website and how it really works. If you want to navigate a little bit on the website and how this all is working, and show how the listings are and what is going on in this.
Right.
So in terms of category, we have done the very deep survey, deep analysis, and we are doing the reverse engineering. Okay. So reverse engineering means, first of all, we understand what India is good at. So we know that India is good at providing the food staples, clothing, industrial goods. We are very best. We are far better than in China. Also in the medical supplies, in pharmacy. We have proven during this pandemic situation also, we can provide the medical supply to the globe when it is required, right? So currently we are basically focusing on only three categories: clothing, food, and health. And slowly, once these three categories, we will deeply penetrate into the market, when the people will understand the quality, when we will completely use this supply chain, then we are planning to penetrate, or we are basically launching another categories such as leather, industrial goods, and refined petroleum goods, as well as energy goods. Energy goods means India is very good in the providing the services and providing the refined products to the world. We have the very big, basically the manpower, better infrastructure, and whatever the currently there is abundant supply of the silicon as well as lithium. But however, there are very less countries which are providing the batteries or the solars, all those energy material to the world. So India has that capability. That is the reason we are basically very soon we are starting the energy products also, because the raw material very cheap, but the refined products are very expensive. So the margin which Indian products will get very high. So those are the different categories which we are introducing. At the moment, nobody in the world has introduced that separate category, which we are pretty much focusing on the energy goods, which are renewable, as well as basically the those energies which we are not using the conventional power, such as petrol or diesel or something like that. So it's just basically lithium, using with the wind, using with the solars, all those energies segments which can be stored and which can be used and portable anywhere. That sort of basically categories we are introducing very soon. Also, at the same time, we are introducing the products which are upcycled one. If you will know, by 2030, complete Europe continent has decided to use the 90% of the product should be upcycled. So they don't want to basically create a lot of pollution ultimately, and those products which are basically no use. So upcycling is very most important things. That category very soon we will introduce in Shopify, where we are doing one of the second largest country in the world, which is doing the upcycling, especially using the scrap, plastic, or any renewable materials, right? So we are introducing that because we know that where we are good at. So we are focusing those categories so that we can basically showcase very easily to the world that what product we can serve.
Right. Another question which I'm seeing being asked: what is the kind of POS which is being used by you?
Yeah. So point of sale is basically very different thing, or a very unique thing we have done. Because point of sale, it is designed in such a way that it will work without internet, with internet, which has very high offline capability, which will directly connect with the Shopify, so that our manufacturer only focus on his core business for run his day-to-day product sale, procurement, as well as sale, and automatically inventory will get updated on the Shopify. Okay, and even though there is an internet lag, then automatically data will get stored into our technology platform, which is near to his machine, and when the internet will come, it will automatically sync. So he no need to do anything. It is a seamless transition for any manufacturer to move from non-technology to technology, because we know that Indian manufacturer, which are pretty much more than 50 million, out of which 90% people are doing offline business. So it is very much important that we should not impact their existing business, but at the same time, we will complement something, so that transition should be very seamless. So due to that reason, we have introduced the point of sale, which will help them to transition from offline to digitized way.
So just to clarify, point of sales means, point of sales is different. It's actually point of listing. So when you do a listing on any manufacturer onboarding, then you put all the listings on that. You don't need a internet connection. Whenever you come in a connection, it will automatically get loaded. So that's loading. You don't actually, franchisee is not selling anything. Sales are done through the platform itself.
Yeah.
We have a question, and there are multiple questions attached to that. One obviously is acquisition of maybe local manufacturers in the city. And what is the ongoing role of a franchisee, apart from the acquisition? Will they also play any kind of role for user engagement or engagement of these manufacturers or their ongoing sales? Is there any role they would play there, or their role stops the moment they onboard a manufacturer is one question. And again, on the business, because it requires certain space, is a question where, can this be a business which can be run from home, because it does not require too much of working inside the office. So what is the infrastructure which has been put will be deployed for is another question which I would like you to answer.
Yeah, so first I will answer the first question, which is basically after onboarding the manufacturers, the journey of the manufacturer not basically stop there itself. It is an ongoing journey. As good as we are giving the value to manufacturer, Shopify has designed e-franchisee in a such a way that whatever the revenue will be generated from day one, Shopify is sharing those revenue to our e-franchisee. For example, if the manufacturer will get onboarded to the Shopify, we are giving the payout starting from 1500 till 18,000 depends 80,000 depends upon how much business that manufacturer is generating. Apart from that, if there will be any export order will be generated and those manufacturer will be from his designated area, let's take example Jaipur, then he will get the 20% of the share of the total commission whatever Shopify is generating, even though he is not helping in the sale, because he is collaboratively working with manufacturer to maintain his quality as also to validate his product quality. So that is the reason it is ongoing business which he will get it when as good as the supplier or manufacturer is onboarded with the Shopify.
So is there a weekly or a monthly report which goes to the franchisee in terms of the consumption or the demand which is being placed on your site? How does he have a visibility of what is being sold and how big the demand is? One question.
So, we have created the very artificial intelligence based the dashboard, which is giving the real-time feed, real-time data, which is telling not only the what is the statistic. See, there are two things. One is the behavioral data, another is the statistical data. Statistical data is can be provided depends upon a purchase sale, but behavioral data it requires a lot of intelligence. So that also we are providing. We are telling to our manufacturer as well as buyer what is trend going on within India, outside India, within their vicinity, what happened last year on during this time, what are the new policies, terms, conditions are coming. So we are providing customized recommendation news also to those manufacturer as well as the buyer to make sure that he should focus on his business and he should be pretty much confident while purchasing and selling the things, so that he should be get rid of unnecessary surplus inventory to maintain.
Right, I think that's a very important point, because statistics is one, but behaviors is something which keeps changing, and especially in certain products and certain times. Okay, now another question which I'm seeing is while we talked about the component of franchise fees and the other is the investment which goes in, all put together becomes 8.5, and where is that money deployed? Is it just the capex for the office, or it goes in some kind of equipment that he needs? What all does it include?
Yeah, so out of that 8 lakhs, there is a 3 lakhs which is e-franchisee fees, and 5 lakhs is just basically building the capability, just the rental, computers, internet, all those basic things which is required to run his business smoothly.
Okay, so
and also the having the 4 resources, sales executive there. So those are basically annual costing which we have calculated.
So this is OPEX provision of
capital or operating expenses
is very, very small. So
Yeah.
don't, while they've kept the full provision of the money, but that's OPEX for 1 year. So that's how it needs to be done. Another very good question Amit has on, what is the potential of agriculture goods from India, and is Dubai can be a big hub? So Amit, it can be a huge hub because buying for Africa is happening from Dubai. So if you have create warehousing there and then supply to Africa, that is a big market because Indian products have a huge demand in Africa, both Southern Africa and also North Africa. as a big demand. So, any Swapnil, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so I think in the food staple we are very good, especially for the rice. We are providing almost all countries our quality rice, especially basmati is our unique product due to its aroma. So all the countries almost demand for it. So food staple, especially agriculture, is having always high demand, and we started already with the food staples, confectionery as well as packaged food. We are already supplying to these countries, especially Belgium, Australia, as well as US, New York, Delaware State. We are already supplying food staple to those places. And we are continuously getting the big demand for that.
Yeah, I'll take one more question, which because we talk about two markets, international market and the domestic market. And if you talk about your entire GMV annually, how much of that goes to international and how much is the domestic demand or consumption through the portal?
Yeah, so starting with, since the domestic market penetration is always considered to be very easy as compared with the international due to cross-border restriction rules, policies, and a lot of things. So initially starting with first year, there will be contribution of the domestic will be more, it will be 70% and international will be 30%. And slowly it will be pretty much more predominantly will be export. So 70% we are expecting from export from the international market and 30% will be domestic. And the product will be only qualified for the domestic, which are export quality products. Not all the quality, all the products which are available in India are not eligible to list on the Shopify's platform, because we are not differentiating the product which are for export and which are for domestic market. So those are products which are having the global standard, who are maintaining global standard, global quality. Those are only get listed on the Shopify's.
And is there a validation process before these people are shown on the website? When we onboard manufacturers, is a process through which they are validated?
Yeah, there is very stringent process we follow for about starting from 1 week to 2 weeks. So when any supplier are interested or when supplier come to us Shopify, we basically not only check his personal KYC, company KYC, but also we'll validate his product also. What material he has used, what is the age of material, if it is a clothing, what texture he is using, what basically the color he is using, whether it is organic, it is artificial, is it harmful for the skin, what type of stitches he is using. So all those we have the basically the export quality consultants are there who are validating the quality before making sure that those products are sell to international market, because it is not only the creditability of the Shopify, but it is also creditability of the Indian products which will showcase globally. So we are making sure that we are checking the quality as per the global standard before onboarding the supplier itself.
Right, I think that's helpful. And two questions which I'll take together is training, which always plays an important role awarding a franchisee. What kind of training program is required for a franchisee? Is there any kind of training which is also done for a manufacturer? Is another question which I'm seeing being asked from Mr. Harsh Khandelwal. So training.
Yeah, so there are three types of intensive training we provide to our e-franchisee. One is basically physical training in Shopify's office. Second thing is online training for day-to-day their problems, day-to-day giving any new features function. And third training, which is on-field training, to make sure that we will help our e-franchisee how to generate the leads, how to generate the sale, how to connect the manufacturers so that they will feel confidence while doing the business. And this is an ongoing process also. We have the field consultant, which is regularly reaching to our e-franchisee to make sure that they are doing their business smoothly. They are not facing any problem. If there will be any problem, they will jump in and they will help them.
Okay, and I want to, while we understood, what a franchisee needs to do, and he also, a lot of the business which comes to him and the commissions that he makes depends largely on his ability to acquire local manufacturers and further based on the transaction that happen on the platform. But if you want to give maybe a ballpark or maybe, gestation time, how long is typically gestation time? One, because he will go out, he will acquire these manufacturers, one. And second, these products will also take some time to get optimized on the website, right? And people start searching, and only when the rating goes up, the demand for that product and hence the transaction would increase. So considering all these timelines, typically how much time does it take for an individual to start making money, and or how big is the gestation time?
Yeah, so onboarding time of any manufacturer will take around 7 days to 15 days. But in terms of generating the actual business for manufacturer, it will take about about maximum 2 months. He will get the business out of it, because
Okay.
it is about not only the establishing on the e-commerce platform, but at the same time to establish his brand and to create his product in such a way that people will know that what products has been listed. So there is a very stringent marketing branding happens for that particular manufacturer whenever it is onboarded. So lead time is, you can say, about 1 month or 2 months, maximum 2 months. So and after that, he will regularly will get the business out of Shopify.
Okay, we've all talked about the positive things. I have somebody who also wants to understand what are the biggest challenges which one can face being a franchisee, which can be problematic, which could be based on maybe the working, maybe reaching out to these people at the local level or exciting them, engaging them. What, according to you, is the biggest challenge, and what is that a franchisee needs to take care of when he ventures into a business of the sort?
Yeah, biggest challenge I would say is main thing is about the mentality or the mindset. At the moment, the most of the small and medium manufacturers, they do the offline business. Okay, so it is important to educate and aware them that how it will help when they will move their business from offline to online and digitize way. Okay, so that is basically the, I would say it's a gradual process to create the awareness. I think it's pretty much already it is started. India is the one of the country which has the highest number of mobile user and internet penetration in the world. So things are moving, but the still challenges are there. People are using for day-to-day purpose, but not actually for doing the businesses when it is coming to the small businesses, right? So that basically challenge is there, but people are adopting due to this current COVID situation. It has given natural, very good lessons that how the business has to be done when even the shops got closed physically, how they can sell their product online automatically even though they are not physically opening their shops, right? So basically this is creating the natural awareness to them that yes, their existence to create the e-commerce store is required. So slowly the people are adopting the thing, but that is one of the challenge currently we are facing, to bring the customer online from offline.
Great. I think
Sure.
we've
Yeah,
covered a lot of
but I think in the interest of time, we would have to leave some questions for one-on-one discussions, and I think it's a very interesting business model you've done, Swapnil. While it's also at different stage. I mean, it's a stage which is early stage. You're a very promising entrepreneur. We Franchise India, we believe that we need to really bring in promising entrepreneurs who have a new cutting edge technology, vision to change few things and create new leadership structures. So we always promote that. But we also have to appreciate that investors come with a very clear 2 to 3 year horizon to make money, and they also need to really see through. So we will like that these one-on-one frank discussions happen where you also transparently talk about what business is there, and especially early stage franchisees would need a lot of support, and they would need support to really make money, and that good success of their first 5-10 franchisees would actually ensure the next hundreds of franchisees would come from different clusters. India has over 300 established manufacturing clusters, and all these clusters can have a very strong franchisee, and that can create a very big opportunity for manufacturing in India, kind of an opportunity. So I would like to take maybe your remark and Sonia's your remark for closing remarks for the business, and we will also start taking starting this week a lot of one-on-one discussions of people who would like to take that exclusive rights for their region and start developing their clusters and so forth. So over to you, Swapnil. Your remark on.
Yeah. So basically, thank you so much, Gaurav, Soumya, and whole franchise team to creating such a wonderful platform to showcase the Shopify's vision for Indian people to go global. So I thanks all attendees, investors, and all people so who spend the time to understand the Shopify's value proposition and the growth rate and what basically we can provide it to our franchisee. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Swapnilji. I think we have covered all the important points. What I'm also seeing in Q&A is people want to have a detailed discussion on the business model. I feel we should like to take that up one-on-one post the webinar. And And I hope we'll be able to take it up from there with many people, because they want detailed discussion. Guys, we can't do all the discussion over this forum. We have a limitation of time. So we'll take up with each one of you. We've recorded all your queries that have been sent across. And we'll come back to you between today and tomorrow. And we'll also put our email IDs, and you can even reach out to us if there's any specific question that you have.
Also, I think I will encourage you, Swapnil, this is not a hard rule, but early franchisees are like co-founders. You know, when they come in the business, they are building your business into other places. You might think through that some of the franchisees who invest with you right now and put their hard work alongside with you in their territories, you might like to give them a small equity of your business, because tomorrow when the value happens, franchisees sometimes say that we were also part of the founding team, we worked hard and we established them in Jaipur, we established them in, but when the company becomes very big and valuation goes up, they don't get part of that valuation. Very few companies are able to do that. So think over it. It's not a hard rule, but I'm just putting a suggestion on the table. And also if you want to offer something, because this is a time where people don't want to put some cash, so much cash, but if you want to give our audience some benefit of payment terms or split of payments, it'll be great for you also to get some hardworking franchisees, and also for franchisees to space their investment cycle.
Yes, yeah, it's a good point. Thanks for the suggestion, Gaurav sir. So, especially during the COVID situation, we understand that the market, Indian market, has been disrupted very badly. All the small and medium manufacturers are impacted. To support from Shopify, we have decided to completely give the free shipping for all the sale, whatever happens from the Shopify, so that at least we can share, we can pass those benefit to our supplier as well as consumers. At the same time, every day, so every time we give the payment cycle, which is ranging from 7 days to pretty much 1 month. So we have reduced the payment cycle also. We are giving the payment within 4 days of the settlement. So we are making sure that they will maintain their cash flow, and they run their business, and they will grow very soon. So this time will go. So we are hoping good luck all the small and medium manufacturers. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. So thank you so much, Swapnil, for your wishes to all of us. Look forward to have a great association with you. Thank you so much, all the friends who have joined us today. As we always conclude and we always say, you can follow us on a various social network. All the information about social sites of franchise and has given it at your chat box. You can also call us. You can write to us. Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am have shared their email ID. You can directly write to them for any kind of the suggestion, feedback, and queries. We truly value your all the suggestions, and we'll try to work on those suggestions also. You can follow Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs to get more clarity on how you can expand your business or select your dream business from us. But before we go, here is the information. Yeah, that's the email ID Gaurav sir has just written. You can reach to him. But before you go, tomorrow we have great brand coming, Azad Sweets. Yes, it's a heritage sweet and restaurant brand. Imagine since 1958 they are into market, and the kind of the value creation they are giving in market since it's been 62 years they're into market, and that's the reason you should always join us tomorrow with the registration link which is given in your chat tool. Please do pre-registration. You'll get a confirmation mail from our side, and our representative will also help you in case you face any kind of the login tomorrow. But do a pre-registration. That's very important. I think Gaurav sir wish to add something for Azad Sweets. Gaurav sir, may I request if you wish to add?
Post-partition brand, very few brands have survived 5 to 6 decades. It's a specialty Sindhi food, you know. So when so a lot of Sindhi families moved to India, Azad was started on that. It's a very popular foods across West, particularly. They obviously are originated from Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad, it's a must-visit place. So when you go to Ahmedabad, you would never miss this brand. And a lot of traditional, both new consumers are coming to them. Now they have agreed, they've never franchised because they were building this for 6 decades as a family business, 3-generation family business. Now they've agreed to take the brand to other markets. A huge opportunity for markets like Pune has a big community of Sindhis. Not only Sindhis come, but everybody can come. But obviously there you have a very strong Sindhi community. This can be a huge opportunity. for that. Bombay, Delhi, other places, they are open for that. Obviously, Gujarat remains their key market for expansion. So please join us for Azad Sweets and Restaurant. It's a good opportunity for current times, because these businesses will always thrive even if in these periods, and a great 62-year generation. Also, my request to all the investors is that if you have missed some episode, we have done already 53 episodes, and then multiple other regional episodes and so on and so forth. So we have offered about 150 different brands in last 60 odd days. They are all available, recorded on our Facebook site. So you can go and see some opportunities which interest you. So we'll bring in combination of traditional and a lot of cutting edge, new age brands like Shopify with Swapnil. So it's a mix of both. We are trying to give it to our audience. Thank you, Swapnil.
Thank you.
You are a dynamic guy and trying to change the landscape of B2B. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Our best wishes with each one of you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Join us tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone.